Hello friends, it's Kayla. Welcome to day 10 of the 12 days of BooksandLala. I wasn't planning on introing this today because I have been filming this video for the last 4 months. It's another reading journal exploration, but I was just editing the video and I didn't do any type of an intro. I just started unboxing one of the journals because I actually received it while I was still filming my last journal video. And so I just dove right into it and didn't think to make an intro. So here we are. For the final 4 reading journals, I asked you last time if you wanted to see really cheap or really expensive options. The majority of people wanted to see the bougie versions. So these are the most expensive journals that I have picked up. Some of them are from small Etsy sellers. Some are just more expensive brands in general. A couple of them are brand new 2021 releases. Some have been around for a while, but I tried out each of these for essentially a month. The last one only for the last couple weeks that I could of the year, but I didn't want to wait to put this video out because I have a lot of feelings about everything that I tried out. So let's throw it back to summer 2021 when I was trying out a highly requested Etsy shop. This one just arrived. It got here really fast. I'm not going to be using it for a couple months, but I wanted to unpackage it with you so we could have the initial reaction. Stella was so incredibly kind. She messaged me because she had asked for my phone number for international shipping. And she said that she watches my videos, and my bullet journals were part of the inspiration for her wanting to make a journal. So that was an incredibly kind thing to say. Let's check it out. This is a good size. I don't have my purse to do the purse check. But yeah, it's funny because online, no matter anytime I buy from Etsy, it always seems like it's gonna be so much bigger than it is. I pictured this as a guest book, at a wedding. That's just how it looked. This is a much more reasonable size than what I was picturing. She sent postcards and bookmarks since she's a fan of my channel. She started reading Anna Marie McLemore because of me. Ah, that's so nice. Okay, these are so cute. Thank you so much, my friend. This is very much my vibe, especially I want to say 2 years ago. I mean, everything in my house still is white and gold, but this was the aesthetic I was even going for. I made a couple different graphics in this vein. I think it's super pretty. My house is a little bit dark right now, so I can't tell if it's white or if it's a little gray. I like the font in here. So it starts out with a book bingo. I don't need to show you here. I'm going to show you close-up shots. Oh my gosh. A book bingo, plans and resolutions, goals and wish lists that it's separated by month, anticipated new releases by month. So there's some bookish quotes, and this design is super fun. Okay, so it's separated by month. It's like a planner. So January starts with favorite quotes. I think my only preference would be for this to not have the months in it, so you could kind of start it whenever. It says to be read, book haul with a bunch of different things. I am grateful for genre tracker, author tracker, and then you can list your favorites. And then there's a planning page, a wrap-up page. Hello. A review page. Wow. Okay, so there is a lot just for that 1 month. I was looking at the tracking page and I was like, where do you actually just write the books down you've read? But there's a whole page just for that. So that's what it is, 12 times. It has a very light bullet journal dotted style, and then there's a wrap-up at the end so you can fill in all of your things. I'm going to try it out and let you know what I think. Having used this the entire month, at this point, this is my favorite reading journal I've ever used. It's perfect for my purposes besides full page reviews. So I feel like I would use this, and I have been using this, in tandem with a reading journal that has nothing but full page review potential. This is more like a planner, a tracker. It is a reading journal. It's not a review journal, but there's absolutely space for mini reviews. I've actually been using the bullet journal, those blank pages, for planning my Instagram feed, and then the calendar I've been using as a content planner. So again, my little Pooly print is saving my life, and I've been printing out these little stickers for when I'm posting a YouTube video, when I'm posting Instagram, and I love that that's in there. There's no wasted pages. Everything about this is perfect except the paper. It's just not it's not thick enough. It's the type of paper that you can see, like when you turn the page and there's like a little crease, like every page creases, like you can see little folds and little marks. It's not bad quality by any means. Like it's pretty matte, it's nice and white. You know, the pages aren't ripping or tearing, but I absolutely would not use a pen in here, which is my preferred stationery. This is pencil only because you can see through like completely. And clearly this isn't a deal breaker for me because I'm continuing to use this. I really like it. And I'm continuing to use it because my next month's thing is review focused rather than like a tracker. So we're still good using this. And obviously I know she would have to charge more for like a thicker paper. That's just how paper works. My favorite paper to write on is 100 grams. And I feel like you can even like hear the difference. It's just not as thick as like any of my other hardcover reading journal papers. It feels a lot like the paper of my weekly planner that I use, but again, like you can see anytime you even manipulate it a little bit, you can see it's all not perfectly flat anymore already, when these ones still are. So that's my one qualm. And I think that just ties in with the overall stability. When I was originally like flipping through this to film some close-ups, this broke a little. It's just separating a bit. But using it throughout the month of September was really enjoyable. Writing in it was nice. I liked everything I got to keep track of, especially if you're someone who makes bookish content and every single month you want to know how many books you hauled and how many you read and you're tracking every little thing. This is super helpful for that. My favorite pages are the tracker at the end of the year. I made this little bar graph of how many books I read each month, and then there's also an awards page. And then this top 15 at the end is so pretty. I wish there was an entire spread where I could put like every 200 books that I read in the year and color those in. Overall, I give this a 4.5 out of 5, and now we'll move on to the next one. The number one that was requested from me to try the first time I did this video is the Moleskin reading journal, which I didn't even know was a thing. I've had Moleskin products in the past, but I had no idea they had a reading journal, so I just picked it up. It came nicely packaged. Let me check the price. This one was $38 from Amazon, but yeah, people were very curious about this one. So the $38 is definitely related to it just being a Moleskin product. This feels very nice. Do I love the color? It's fine. I like that it's embossed. It's like simple, subtle, pretty. The paper is like an ivory as opposed to white, and it's very thin. Like scary thin. This is like a 70-gram paperweight. Okay, let's go through. We've got a couple lists at the beginning. A glossary for bibliophiles, what a poet means, what a bookseller means, and then we have some famous authors and awards. And then it goes to blank pages for your reading wish list, favorite covers, and then the book journal begins. And it is like an address book. So it is just full reviews. There's nothing about planning, there's nothing extra. It is full page reviews, and there's room for 14 potential reviews for each letter. It doesn't seem to change between letters. That's why it stays like so beautiful, like waterfall. It's not like they give you 20 pages for the letter S and only 5 pages for the letter Q. So it's just up to you if that is going to bother you, that you're going to be potentially full of one letter and then have to buy another one, but like your Q section is never going to be full. This is cool for references. So it's not something that you would use for like a year. You would just continue using this forever until it's all filled out, and then you can always be like, oh, what was that Hemingway book that I read? What did I think of it? What did I give it? Oh, 2 stars. There's room for title, date read. I do like date read instead of date started and finished. Author, nationality, first edition, original language, book type, publisher year, awards, notes, memorable quote, thoughts and impressions, and then a little spot for rating. So you can absolutely see through these pages. I would only ever use a pencil in here. It's definitely good quality, like it's bound well, it feels good as you would expect. Ribbons, 2 ribbons. Then you have the elastic closure. I definitely like it saying book type because you can put anything there. Like you could put the genre or you could put how you read it, like ebook, audiobook, whatever. And there is a decent amount of space if you wanted to put more than one thing. I feel like there's almost like too much space, but that's from someone who writes pretty tiny, so that's fine. I probably would have preferred the entire second half to just be like thoughts, impressions, and notes rather than it divided up, because like my notes on a book would be my impressions. Like notes feels like that's where I'm supposed to write the synopsis or like facts about the book, which is very boring. But if you read a lot of nonfiction, I would probably enjoy using this for more so that type of reading experience. I don't know how to feel about this one. Ooh, hold on, maybe I do know. Maybe I love it now because I see stickers. There are stars, there's new, bookmark, question mark, a gift, thumbs up and down, just some random stickers. There's hearts, exclamation marks, sad and happy faces. This is interesting. There's definitely not enough here for how many potential reviews there are. So I wonder if you can order more of these separately. I can fit, what, 400, almost 400 reviews in here, and you're expecting me to only have 10 favorites at the end of it, and you expect me to only have 12 that deserve a heart and 12 that I got brand new. But these are the perfect size to stick in that little corner. I think it's nice. I was gonna say, would I pay $38 for it? Bitch, you already did. I don't know that this is worth $38. Quality speaking, sure, but like, is this worth $38? I guess I have to factor in how many reviews fit into it because it does have room for 400. This one that serves the same purpose only fit like, it was like under 100 and it's $20. So I don't know yet. Sorry friends, upon editing I realized I lost the audio from this clip, so that's fun. All of my initial thoughts are my review. The Moleskin, though I'm realizing there's an E on the end. Moleskin? Generally, it was not for me, but I think I would recommend it. I would have no hesitation recommending it to others, and I think you get exactly what you think you're getting if you're picking it up thinking that you're going to enjoy it. Overall, it's a little too mature for me. I think the quality is fantastic. I know I harped on the paper, but I don't think paper is indicative of quality. The reason they chose that type of paper is because that's the only way you could reasonably fit that many pages and that many reviews. This is something you keep forever, and I think it's gonna stand the test of time. This is something that I would recommend you like buy your dad. I just picture a, you know, some guy with a number 2 pencil writing by candlelight. But don't wait until he's too old to buy it for him and his eyesight starts to go, because the text is real small. Filling in these tiny stars gave me a headache and I hated it. So I can really appreciate what it is. It does what it says. It's just a little too simple and professional for my taste. For this month, the one that I picked up is called Mental Floss, The Curious Reader, A Journal for Book Lovers. I had this requested a couple times. I've had a lot requested a lot of times. Some of them are taking a really long time to ship, but this one is here. Like I said, I'm on board for the hardcover. I didn't used to be. And it's by Weldon Owen. It has a little ribbon. It has a super glued in secure binding, so not like the flexy stuff. The pages seem extremely thick and bright white and matte, so let's look through this together. So we have a top 10 list, and it leaves you room to write in the year yourself. There's some interesting facts about authors, just some fun things to fill in, literary dinner party, book titles I love, cat loving writers. Okay, so there's quite a few pages before we get to book reviews. And then the book reviews, there are 4 per page. There's a little grading card, which is interesting. I know the yellow tone of this will appeal to, like, not everybody has the exact same taste, so I want to pick up ones that have been requested and like a variety of aesthetics. You know, that's always been my goal. So 4 per page will actually, sometimes it's 7 per spread and sometimes it's 8 per spread because there are little quotes. And there is a bunch of different things you can rate, which is always interesting, and I thought that was cool about one I tried before. So you can rate based on characters, plot development, quality of writing, and overall. There's not a lot of space for a review. This is more so if you want to fit a ton of reviews in one book. I like that it just says date read. I don't know why I care about this, but it just says date read, which I like, rather than date started and finished. And then there's like 4 lines for your thoughts. If you're not reading something that has characters and plot, then you just don't fill out those stars, which for most people that would be fine. They don't care. I think there's a lot of reviews. I don't know if there's a number anywhere. I feel like reading journal should tell you how many spaces there are for reviews. Like, that's a fact, right? We all agree on that. So it goes from page 23, page 60, 130. If I'm counting right, it's 130. And then this whole section, so more than half of it, is other stuff. More lists, I'm assuming. This is the type of thing you buy for the content. Like, this isn't just a reading journal. This is something that gives you information and gives you things to read and do. Again, I mentioned this for a previous one, but I feel like this is the type of thing that you gift. Like, yeah, if you're really in love with books and literature and you want to learn things, then I feel like you pick this up. But I feel like you pick it up on its own outside of being a reading journal. The reading journal portion of it is like a bonus that makes it feel like something you give to someone. Does that make sense to anyone? Oh, maybe you gift it to the writer in your life, because there's facts about like how many rejection letters people got, and books I love no one else loves, books I like to give as gifts, harsh early reviews of classic 20th century novels. Okay. This is interesting. Book series to binge. So there's recommendations, there's places to fill out your own stuff, books you've loaned, books loaned to me. Lots of pages for that. I will say something picky about me is I don't love when books combine photographs and graphics. Like, I like one consistent aesthetic throughout. So this is just like a photoshopped like stack of books and like a photographed library card, a photograph of a child and a kite, so you can write down your favorite childhood books. There's not enough space for me, but then some pages are like a heart graphic. There are a good amount of colors in here, every single color in here, which helps explain the $27 price tag. The quality seems really good. I think there's too many pages for want to read. Like, I just don't think that you need this much information about every book you read. I would rather just have blank pages that I could fill in myself, or I could use for a list of books that I want to read, and it could like say that at the top. Do you really need 4 lines to say why you want to read a book? But then it gives you the same amount of lines for once you've actually read the book. That just doesn't seem right to me. Also, oh my god, I just noticed beside it, it says did it. So like you check it off and then you score it. But like, wouldn't all the reviews in the front be books I wanted to read? And didn't I already do that there? And then if I put it here, am I like not allowed to then put it here? But then I have to also double it up here because there's not room to share my thoughts after I've already written why I want to read it. Yeah, a lot of pages for that. And then more things. Self-published books, adaptations, information about authors, my favorite summer reads. Why wouldn't there be a page for every season? Don't like that. This is cute. If I could design a bookstore and there's just a blank page where you can draw it out. Oh my god, I love that. Bookstores I love. A book club log in the back. What I would say about this is a brand new release, which is why people were asking me to check it out. 2021. This feels like something that would have been published 10 years ago. It just doesn't feel super current and modern. I'm also noticing there's no conversation about audiobooks or ebooks or any like call out moment to appreciate things like that. Nothing about libraries or used books specifically. I feel like this is a fine thing that anybody who picked it up looking for this type of thing would enjoy, more so than whatever this one was that I feel like is really comparable to this. If you're choosing between them, I would pick this one, but they're in the same kind of vein. I will give it a try. I don't feel like I'm gonna hold on to this one, so I will be careful about where I write in it, but I want to give you like a full review of all of the things that are mentioned here. So I'll read it full out, try out my pens, I'll do all that stuff, and I'll come back. My final thoughts for this are good. I think the quality held up. I used it a couple times and it's still like super solid. It didn't bend, it didn't get weird. It writes super flat, which I enjoy. I really like the texture of it. Like the physicality of it is like a 5-star. The aesthetics of it, I'm gonna give a 3 just for my personal preferences. Like not my favorite mix of fonts and colors and all of that stuff, but if it is, I think it would be a great journal for you. Content, I'm gonna give it like, oh, that's tough because I feel like it had a lot of fun things in it. I'm gonna give it a 4 for content. There are some sections that I think should have had more space, some less space, a couple more options for things to fill out, but generally there's so much to do in here and read and experience that, again, a great gift. Now we're moving on to the last one, and I'm gonna use this I think only for the next 2 weeks before I put out this video, because the publication date got changed. I think it was supposed to come out at the beginning of December. I pre-ordered this before any of you even knew about it. I'm so excited to finally have it in my hands, and it is a Clockwork Reader reading journal by Hannah from a Clockwork Reader. I didn't know what to expect, like how it was actually going to look, because you can look at the photos and you can see the dimensions, but until you have it in your hand, like, you don't know. And it does not pass like the purse test, but I'm past really caring about that anyway. It's wide, which I'm so pleased by. I just love this size, and it's like a squishy soft cover that I'm in love with. It has this. Does it have a ribbon? It doesn't have a ribbon. I think we'll survive. It has the flexi binding. It's a beautiful sage and copper, which, like, if you look at my bullet journals, this is totally my vibe. This is also just a very trendy color right now. It's a little more green than sage, actually, looking at it now. It's a little bright, but it's very pretty and feminine, but not too feminine. It has a lot more pages than I was even expecting. I'm just dying to crack into it. She, I know, did everything in here by hand. I'm just intrigued to know what that even means. Okay, so there's an intro, just like the one from Sana. What to find in here? Oh my god, there's an example she wrote about the night circus. So each review page seems to be one full page. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Oh, and then we get Hannah's favorite books, and then a place for our favorite books. Beautiful. This looks like like, I know it's hand drawn, but it looks like it's hand drawn within here. Like, if you are not artistically inclined and you really struggle to make a bullet journal pretty, like that year that I did the reading journal experiment, and I was typically not happy with my designs, but like looking at other people's bullet journals, they were all so beautiful. Okay, the cost also makes sense seeing this, because I don't think she's gonna hold back with colors. Holy shit. Okay, there's a page for reading goals. Every single font is different and hand-drawn. There's a to-read list. This is exactly what I want from a to-read list. Just, I don't need an explanation of why it's on my to-read list. Just a simple title, author, date. Okay, so there's like reading prompts. That's fun, but not like a list of recommendations. Is there going to be a list of recommendations? No, not really, which I love. Oh, and then the reviews start. So each one is a full spread. I really like that the stars are hand-drawn. Title, author, narrator. Interesting. Format. Date started, date finished, genre, number of pages, recommended by, and then questions for each book is what's your favorite quote, where were you when you read this book? That's interesting. Most memorable scene, would you recommend this book? Why? What did you learn from this book? And then there's a huge blank section, so you could write anything you want here, like lists of what else, other book recommendations, or draw the cover, print out a picture of the cover. Oh, she just did like a pretty quote. Absolutely, you can totally do that. I do feel like format should come before narrator, just because like if there's not a narrator and then that's blank, that seems weird. I really like the idea of format though, rather than having to check something off. Things are staggered, but they all line up, which is amazing. I like it all being lowercase. I know that's a weird thing to prefer, but I do like that. I think instead of recommended by, I would put like where I heard about this, because for people who don't look to other people for recommendations and they just get things from the bookstore, I feel like I wouldn't be able to fill that out. Recommended by Barnes & Noble? I don't know. I like the questions. I like there being prompts in general. And I do feel like you could use this for like a nonfiction even, because most memorable scene could work for fiction or nonfiction. There's nothing that's too fiction specific there. Okay, so, oh, this did say up to 100 books. I love that it includes the number. So there are going to be 100 pages, just like that. What comes after? These are so pretty. I like that it's consistent, that there isn't like a different design for every page or like every 10 pages or whatever. We've got a spot for favorite authors. So author and then the books. Oh good, a couple pages from that. Favorite quotes, 2 pages for that. Most anticipated book releases. I love that. Simple, straightforward list. Books to reread. That's always cool. I just really love how all of this is drawn. It's so pretty. Favorite childhood books. This page is the prettiest one. I know Hannah has done flip throughs of this herself that you've probably already watched, or if you want to watch that instead, I'll link it down below. I haven't watched any because I didn't want to be spoiled for anything. Book to screen. So adaptations. Also super cute. Favorite movies. Like why not? Favorite TV shows. Reading playlist. And then favorite bookish creators. Oh my god, fun! Who are some of your favorite booktubers, bookstagrammers, book bloggers, or book talkers? Oh, I just saw between the book reviews, maybe it's like every 10, there's a little title page, or just like a little quote page. Oh, just kidding, it's not that often. Maybe there's only one. Oh no, there's another one. I feel like these pages could have been just the title page on one side and then the other side something like a recap so far. So maybe a place to do like an index. So like the last 20 books I read, so you can reference the pages. Like some of the reading journals that I have tried have a reference page, so you can easily find the page number that your review that you're looking for is on, though I'm realizing now there are no page numbers in here. I love some good white space, but I also don't like feeling like there's pages that are wasted. You can tell a lot of time and effort went into this, and I just love that there's an example page. I think that's so great. Like it just gives you some inspiration and shows that you, if like you don't have a narrator, you don't have to fill that out. Overall, I'm in love with this. I can already tell the paper is good and I'm going to enjoy writing on it, but I'll flip over to showing you just me writing in it and using it and filling it out. This obviously is the priciest one of the bunch, but you can see the quality and the time and the effort that went into it. I think that you can only justify this type of cost if there is 100 spots for reviews. And the fact that they're full page spreads and there's 100 of them, like that's amazing. It's tough because on one hand, I wish there was a page about reading stats for the year. Like there's a reading goal page, and I think it would have been cool to have a page that is a wrap up of the year. But the thing is, not everybody is like for me, I read 200 books a year. So somebody isn't using this for an entire year, like they buy it in April and they stop it in October and then it's full by then. It would be weird to have a page where you're wrapping up all of your thoughts, and it would feel wasted if you didn't get to use it. The first impressions are very, very good. Okay, Kayla from the future voiceovering now. I've decided to use this as my 2022 reading tracker. So I did fill in a book that I haven't technically finished yet, but I know it's going to be my first read of the year. And I just really wanted to test out these pages for their doodling capabilities. So what I think I would use it for is just drawing a portion of the cover or a quote or like something as intended. So I wanted to full out use like my calligraphy pens and a thicker marker to see the page quality. I tested the page quality in the back with my regular method and it looked really good, especially when you don't hold it up to the light and it's just like flat against the page. You really can't see through it. This paper is pretty great. And then it really surprised me with how it held up even against my thicker pens. So here's my little illustration. The thing that I really appreciate about the way that she has drawn like the doodly things in here is that you can tell that they're hand drawn. They're not hand drawn in such a precise way that they accidentally look like a graphic. Like you can see the pen marks, and I think that that's really successful because then when you're drawing in it, It's not going to match perfectly to her art style, but you can tell that it's all done with pen and it all like seamlessly just meshes together. So some things that I critiqued, but like looking more thoroughly at it, you can use this little thing to mark a page. So even though there is no ribbon, like you can do it this way to keep track of where you are in the reading tracker. It is getting some cracks in here, but not in a way that I'm really concerned about, and that's with manipulating it to really test it. The average person who's just opening it and being normal will be fine. Also, I realized that this page for reading stats, it does say like what you want to read, and then you do have a place to put what you did read. So it's not just like an entry page and then there is no follow-up. This acts entirely as that. And though I know that my critique of the last one was the fact that there are so many different fonts and it looks so messy, I recognize there are different fonts in here as well, but because it's all like in the same color and it's the same general size and you can tell it's drawn by the same person, I just think it does flow well. I remain fully impressed by this reading journal and I will be using it next year. I like that you can use this page in the back as like pen testing. I think every journal should have a page that is blank. This overall is extremely thick and I appreciate how thick it is. I want it to be this thick, but it is a little hard to write in occasionally just because it's not going to lay flat. But I found that if I put something underneath the other page, then it makes it easier. I think my favorite things in here are the size of the stars. You know by now how I feel about that. I love a favorite authors page. I think this is really smart. Rather than just favorite books, you can put your favorite author and then all of the books that you love from them. I haven't filled much of this out because I am going to fully use it next year. I've decided that this paired with this for video planning, but not specifically this one because they came out with a new one and I just had to buy it. I didn't know when I would use it, but I knew that this was something that I needed in my life. This design is just so my taste, and every single thing that I critiqued about this and that I wanted done differently is done differently in this one. So I've already started planning out my goals and my TBR every month. Each month doesn't have the month at the top, which obviously in this case wouldn't bother me because I'm using it for 2022, but it's just a lot more like feasible for anybody to use at any time. Where it says author tracker, it's not divided, so you can divide it any way that you want. And then there's a page in the back that wasn't in the last one where it's all the books, just like it's like she watched my video as I was filming it and then made a newer one. That just means that like so many of us have similar thoughts and feedback, which is so cool. It's cool that it's from an Etsy shop who can like adjust different things and cater to different needs. So there's multiple pages where you can color in your book stack. They have things that the other one doesn't, and as a book content creator, I think that using both of these together is super cool. So at this point, I know it's not a waste of money, and I know nobody really thinks that or has given me that feedback because it is useful for you to see, but I don't plan to buy a whole bunch more. I might do maybe 2 more videos in 2022 with reading journals because I know there are some new ones coming out that people would like me to review, and I will still be doing the cheap Amazon ones just because I already ordered them, but I learned something interesting about that I will share with you in that upcoming video. But yeah, I have no need at this point to try out 12 brand new ones next year, one every month, because I know what I'll be up to. So as far as a review, clearly these are my favorites, but now I'll show them all on the screen and award some different things or give different ratings for quality and diversity and stuff like that. So this was the Modern Classic Reading Journal, the Moleskin Book Journal, the Curious Reader, a journal for book lovers, and a Clockwork Reader. The biggest pros for each one is this one has the most potential stats and things to fill out and track. This one is all about the longevity. You can use it for a long time. A lot of reviews will fit in it. This one is the most interactive and like the most variety, how much there is actually to do in it. I feel like you could buy this as a reading journal and the bonus is all of these fun facts, or you buy it as a book lover who loves fun facts and the reading journal portion is a bonus. And the biggest pro of the last one is the amount of space you have for each review. Full page spreads, the most available room to write all of your thoughts. I obviously have a lot more pros than just that, but those are the initial things that come to mind. Here again is the prices for each one as a comparison. I know that I said Hannah's was the most expensive, but at that point I was just thinking about the most expensive of the ones that I would actually use. And if we factor in shipping, the Etsy one with its $20 shipping cost is actually the priciest one here. Looking at quality, what you're getting for the price, unfortunately I had to give the 2 hardcovers a B because by the end of this video they had cracked, they had separated, there was some glue issues. Not so much so that I wouldn't use them, like a lot of people probably wouldn't even have noticed. And then an absolute A for both of the other ones. I think these are things that would hold up for a long time. And then my rating, the most, you know, subjective of all of this, for my purposes, not taking quality completely into account, more so the style, the feel, and my enjoyment using them, I'm giving the first one a 4.5. Absolutely loved it, but it's not enough space for the actual thorough book review, so I would need a secondary one for that, which I get from Hannah's, which I gave a 5. Then I dished out a 3 and a 2 just because, again, I think they are nice, but they are either a little too simple for me or a little too chaotic for me. I'm a picky girl. My overall thoughts are, do you need to buy the most expensive reading journal out there? No. Like so many people comment, you can get by with a digital form. You can just write it in a notebook you buy from the dollar store for $1. And if you're just looking for the basic needs of a reading journal, do the $7 Amazon ones accomplish that? For sure. But is there an audience for the more expensive ones? Absolutely. I think that you do see an increase in quality and more creative and specific things. Often the more expensive the reading journals are. But does price absolutely guarantee quality? No. And are these the most expensive reading journals you can buy? No. I have actually found more expensive ones. But this was my bougie episode. I hope you got something out of it. I hope that if you were planning on buying one of these, this gave you a little more insight. I was very careful with where I drew in these ones, and I'm gonna end up donating them. I did test out the full capabilities of pen and markers and such, but I kept it to pencil when I was tracking my own stuff throughout the month, just so I could potentially erase it if I wanted to pass these along to someone else, which I will be doing. Thank you so much for watching. I will link this whole series down below if you want to check out more episodes. I will try to link a place where you can purchase all of these down below as well. And of course, somehow after all of that, I didn't film a proper outro. I sounded like I was about to say goodbye, and then I didn't say goodbye, I just stopped filming. I don't know what's wrong with me. This video is very late. Thank you so much for watching if you made it to the end, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.